right, are you there?
I'm here. Are we ready? Are we rolling?
Sure, why not?
Now that you're done hitting yourself?
Quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself.
Before we get too far in, welcome back. Welcome back.
Ba, 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 ba.
Welcome back.
Ba, 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 ba.
Welcome back to Brocast. It's been a while.
Broadcast.
We're no,
You're 10 words in, you screwed up. Womp, womp.
I'm letting people into our lingo, or secret lingo. We call it do we ever call it?
We broadcast as a verb. Let me educate you. We are brozan and we broadcast.
Getting kind of sassy. You're sassy.
Uh-huh.
I am Jay Warren, today sitting with...
My name is Zacchaeus Zachary Zichter.
Really, you usually call yourself Zachary Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus?
No, Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus, there we go.
I said that. Zachary Zacchaeus Zichter.
No, you said Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is Zachary Richter.
No, I said Zachary Zacchaeus.
No.
Did I say Zacchaeus Zachary?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The wheels are starting to fall off. They're going to find out. They're going to find out. So, you wait, did I mention? Oh, you called it broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Erroneously.
Yep, it was an error on my part.
Right. So what is it actually that we do here?
Well, we talk about a little show from the 80s and 90s called Roseanne. Mm-hmm. And that's why the show is called Roseanne.
This is season 1, episode 20.
Oh my, have you really? Well, it is episode 20, but it's technically our 21st episode because of the Christmas episode.
Right. Okay, sorry. This is Roseanne, season 1, episode 20, but it is our 21st episode. You are correct, sir.
Have we already done 21 of these?
21, but it's been a couple weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I was gonna go the other way. You go. It's been a while. You go Stained. I was gonna go Aerosmith. We're back in the saddle again.
That's Aerosmith? I thought that was AC/DC.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so.
No, that's Aerosmith.
Look it up.
But
you get the internet. Your
Vamp.
We were also singing. We were singing the song before we started recording. Well, where'd you go? And then we got that. Then we got two songs confused already. It was with "No Mercy." Where'd you go? And the part of Guns N' Roses.
Aerosmith. I was right. You were dumb.
Oh. You don't need to say it like that.
Okay. Let's just. I don't want to say you're dumb.
But you're gonna.
But some might say your head is shaped like a thing young toddlers play with.
Blockhead.
It's a blockhead.
What a jerk.
What those of you in the audience don't know is that the word blockhead is the word of the day.
Blockhead.
Because Jay was once called a blockhead by a member of my family who he was dating at the time. And let's just say he didn't like that.
She also she had a record of pointing out how stupid I was.
But you're not stupid. You're very smart. I only say it in jest. Ingest? I don't ingest you. No. Don't take you engulfing? No. Engorge?
Say engorge.
I'm sorry. So, were we ever on the rails?
I don't know. I think we started off rough today.
Okay. All right. So
we'll have plenty of time to fuck around. Let's get the start. So this episode is called Toto. We ain't in Kansas anymore.
And what is that a reference to?
That I imagine, is a reference to Wizard of Oz.
Which is?
Like 1939, Dorothy, Land of Oz.
Dorothy, I'm a friend of Dorothy. Is that something about... that's about... Oh, if you say you're a friend of Dorothy, it means that you're okay with those of the LGBTQRSTUV community.
Yeah, that is correct.
And the reason they say a friend, why do they say a friend of Dorothy?
I don't know. I imagine the song "Over the Rainbow" comes into play.
Oh,
yeah,
all these connections.
yeah.
But what song is that from?
"Over the Rainbow" is from Wizard of Oz. Dorothy sings it.
And what show? That's a movie?
We just got done talking about how it's a movie.
Who's in it?
Judy Garland, who plays Dorothy, and a bunch of other people that died many, many years ago. I wonder how long the dog Toto lived after that movie came out.
Probably 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
How
So
old is
not alive anymore.
Your head is in the shape
Blockhead.
of a toddler's toy.
But this movie doesn't have anything to do with the LGBT QRSTUV community.
And before we move on, let's just say that's not a slight. We're just having fun with letters.
We're just having fun with letters.
It has something to do with Dorothy, though,
Yes,
because Dorothy says that in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Which I've totally seen.
And she ends up in Oz. How?
How does she end up there? Because her house was moved there through an act of our Lord.
Or, I mean, it can be interpreted that way, I guess. But what happens by that act is
Where do tornadoes come from?
the sky.
And where does the sky come from? What's the top of the sky? If there was an elevator that just went...
Stratosphere or the meteosphere. I can't remember the last layer of the atmosphere is.
Okay, if a stairway kept going.
The ozone is like the very top, isn't it?
Well, what's up top of the ozone, though?
A vacuum.
What's on
Not
top
like a
of that,
vacuum
though?
cleaner, but like a vacuum.
When
We haven't got that far out yet. I don't know.
when the Babylons built a tower,
Babylonian.
where were they building it to?
Why?
Heaven. Heaven, Jay. They were building it to heaven.
What's happened in like the past 3 weeks to you?
It's been a tornado.
It was a tornado that moved them there, and that's what happens in this episode. Is they get hit by a tornado.
So the synopsis is there's a tornado and the Connors have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get the episode started in the background.
And you have all these, like, when you watch it, you have like all these little intros from her.
Yeah, the intro she said here was that how is her special effects episode?
Yep.
And how, oh boy, was it a hoot. But I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in the movie business because it took so long to get. The one shot she mentions from this episode is later in the episode when the tornado's hitting Lanford, like the mailbox comes right through the window. And that took a long time for them to set up that shot.
I imagine.
So she was likening that to shooting on films, which film production sets are hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
So
There is a lot of waiting on film set. So, did you ever experience a tornado when you were a kid?
Experienced tornado. I went to the movie Twister.
But you never had one, like near your farm or anything?
I don't think so. I mean, I remember Spencer, South Dakota, was wiped off the face of the planet.
Literally.
When I was young. I remember seeing a few funnel clouds here and there, but nothing that actually resembled a twister. Just like, oh, look at this, the spinny cloud. It's going to get bad. Get to the shelter.
There was one that hit my neighborhood when I want to say I was in 4th or 5th grade, or it was the summer before 4th or before 5th, or in between that time.
Yeah.
And it like dumped a bunch of leaves in our yard. Ironically, the lowest house on the neighborhood was the one that got wrecked. And the guy that lived in it, his name was Shorty Thorpe, and he didn't even have a basement.
Oh, wow.
He had to crawl inside his chimney to stay safe.
And was he safe? Was he okay? Yeah.
Yeah, he. And I remember like that was like the only place in Pierre that got touched, and there was just cars that drove past his house for days. And looking back at it, I feel bad for him. Like I'm like,
yeah,
come and look at my misfortune.
It's I know it's not funny, but it's strange. We talked about Spencer. We talked about that situation. It's not all that out of the ordinary,
for South Dakota to at least hear about tornado watches and warnings. And obviously there's a lot of ground, so it's also not unusual that maybe your particular place wasn't hit, but to be to hear of something close. But it seems like in Lanford, Illinois, it must not happen that often because Becky and Darlene, must be their first experience.
Yeah. But Dan seems to kind of have some experience.
Okay.
He looks because he gets kind of excited about it, and that's the way that when I remember being really scared of that tornado when I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was maybe it wasn't more than 2 years later that that kind of weather got me excited.
Yeah.
And, that's the way it is now. There was a tornado that came through Brookings maybe 2 years ago. In the south end of town, and I remember I was working at a restaurant in the kitchen, and the head bartender came back and he's like, there's a tornado warning, we're supposed to seek shelter. And of course the first thing we did was walk outside.
Yeah.
And it's raining really hard, and it's starting to hail, and I could see the tornado. I was in an alleyway, but you could see it moving around pretty fast.
Crazy.
It was crazy. That's just the thing. I think once you Midwest, we're just all about seeing it,
Yeah, and I guess we're all in a flat area. I mean, I don't know if that's a flat area too, but maybe it's more mountainous. We never really see their front yard because obviously it's all on sets and everything. But
no, you don't really see any exterior shots of Lanford.
Anywho, this past fall, I moved back to the Brookings area, and now do people affectionately refer to me as trash? Trailer trash. It's a derogatory term that shouldn't be used, but in some circles, in this room, over in that side of the room.
I'm the only one in here. I've never called you that.
Oh, sorry. What is the one thing that's associated with trailers? They're dangerous when it comes to storms.
Oh yeah.
So there was a tornado watch and even warning in the Bruce area, and we're pretty close to Bruce.
You're that far out.
We're 5 or 6 miles north.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, the whole trailer was just shaking, and we were literally trying to figure out where we should go in the trailer, so if it were to tip, there would be the least amount of furniture to fall on us and crush us to death, or the least amount of glass that broke and cut our throat open. It's where do we go? Luckily, there's a house that if it got really bad, we could have gone to the cellar, but that's also kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have my pride than be safe and not die.
Yeah, at least you got your pride. That's the only time, that one was a kid, that's the only time I remember going to a cellar.
Yeah.
My apartment, I guess if I was really worried about a storm hurting me, I'd get a blanket on top of me and go into the tub. That'd be the place I'd go.
See, so as we're watching this episode, we see some exteriors and we see some things blowing and falling over, and obviously that's what Roseanne is talking about with the special effects. But what I'm blown away about is that they don't have a cellar. Don't all houses?
They do, but they do have a basement, but there's a bunch of construction stuff down there. Because they make a point about it, we should go to the basement, and Dan's like, well, there's just a bunch of lumber and stuff down there.
That's a bad excuse. I think you'd still go down there.
You think so? I mean, they have some pretty, you don't see it this episode, or even this season maybe, but they have some pretty big windows that, there's, kind of fire escape windows.
Okay.
I guess it would still be better than nothing, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they just didn't have the budget for that extra set. But they did what your friend, your neighbor did, was they get over by the chimney.
Yep. Yeah, so I was saying, I was pretty scared of tornadoes when that first one happened.
Yep.
And then after you see your first big storm, then you're like, I'm still alive. That's kind of neat, because your immediate perception is there's a tornado is going to wipe out everything. But then it was a couple years later when I went and saw Twister, much like you did, and loved that movie.
I liked the movie. I missed the key important first 5 minutes where they explain there's a huge cell of storms that would explain why there's so many tornadoes. We get in there and why are all these tornadoes? I understand one or two, but it doesn't happen that often.
And also forgetting the movie is called Twister. So what would it?
No. I mean, you can call it anything you want, but I need a good solid premise. But I missed those first 5 minutes because my parents were like, "Yeah, we go to movies once every decade."
Yeah, they're not moviegoers.
I think they maybe went to episode 7.
Okay.
Maybe that's the last time.
That was also like one of the first movies that started to like kind of set my adolescence, where you'd go to a movie with a group of friends.
Oh, sure.
Like I saw it with a bunch of people with my class, and it was like right before summer break started.
Yeah.
And that was like just such a cool movie to me. Now I look back at it, although that has a man who just passed away in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a connection to this episode with Mr. Game Over himself.
Mm-hmm. Bill Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first movie that I remember. I saw movies with him in it before, but that's the first movie I remember. I know that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to just give him some big love.
Oh yeah.
And let him know that he's no alien to us, and that if he ever should find himself in a twister, we help me out here.
Something about Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah. There's one scene that I always thought, and I am making fun of him, but it's all in good. It's all in gorge, as you say.
Whoa.
He has a scene in Twister, like at the very end, and they're in that pickup, and the F5 is going on.
Yeah.
And like, so there's this house. This house, literally a big 2-story house, literally like blows across the road and lands on its side, and they're driving like right for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Paxton just screams at his top of his lungs,
I think we're going in!
and they drive up like the staircase inside the house. I'm just like,
That makes.
I'm like, Bill, can you just be serious for 2 seconds?
Oh, speaking of just the storms and the really ridiculousness, the Connors were all just huddled around their little handheld radio.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that moment? Did you have family moments where you were huddled around a radio? When did that really go out?
Oh, I would say, I mean, I don't think it's completely gone out. Like I think people still tune into the radio. If you're in your car, you're gonna listen to the radio.
In the car, but inside you'd watch the news.
But yeah, you'd watch the news. The emergency broadcast system would come on.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of the last time that you can imagine people. I would say even like in the 90s, the end of the 90s.
Yeah, because after that, the radios would definitely look different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're watching the storm. They're interested, and as the episode progresses, you see Darlene, and Darlene's wearing a football, the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Yeah, football helmet, and
Duppers.
and DJ is wearing, what is that, like a motorcycle helmet, maybe?
Yeah. I used to wear this helmet all the time when I was a kid that was like this, like, I don't know how to really describe it. It was like a red helmet, and it kind of looked like, you know, the Imperial Army, some like the ones that were like not stormtroopers, they had those hats, those helmets that kind of like went around and they kind of like flared out at the bottom. I had one of those that was like red that that wore everywhere. Because I thought it was imposing. As a 4-year-old, I wanted to intimidate people.
Okay. At least you were 4. I was assuming you were like 15, 17. Like, you were that kid, huh?
27.
Yeah. 32.
Jay, can you take the helmet off when you're at work, please?
One thing I noticed in this episode that I don't understand, maybe you do. Mm-hmm. Jan was going to call maybe Freddie to see if they could use their cellar. Mm-hmm. And as he picked up the phone, he got a shock.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I know that like lightning can come in through a phone line, but I don't think it's going to be like, ooh, that's smarts.
Yeah,
it's gonna hurt quite a bit.
So this whole time, and we haven't given you pointers on the whole plot, but obviously the main plot element is it's an A story. Mm-hmm. That is tornado, period, full stop. It started off with Jackie going through her insurance papers. She must have had either a fire or she had something where she was trying to claim that she had some really nice TV, which was 25 inches at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So she went out to do. What did she go out to do?
I can't remember. No, didn't she go out to go get some groceries or something like that for him?
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I think she is. And then she like stopped to take pictures on her way back,
Right.
which
Pretty cray-cray.
I think would be even more common now. Like everybody would have their phone out.
Yeah.
Because even like that tornado that happened here a couple of years ago, there's a ton of clips you can find on YouTube of just that storm.
But what was interesting, I know we're skipping around like chronologically, but as she gets to the end, she's like, "Oh, it's really nice that it's convenient that I had the camera here, so I can take photos of all your broken stuff, and that will help you with your insurance company." She couldn't even show them what those pictures look like because it was on film. Digital cameras, that wasn't even until like turn of the century when digital cameras were even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I worked at Office Max in 2000, and we had. The most expensive digital camera was $600 that we sold.
Ooh.
And it was 2 megapixels, which if you blew it up, you'd make a decent 4x6. And the screen was tiny. You could look at what you took, but it was really grainy and gross.
Yeah, I remember taking a film class and there was like in high school, and there was a digital part where we would borrow these digital cameras, and they were like big clunky ones that you had to put like a floppy disk into, and they could hold maybe 12 pictures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one also, in addition to there was like a Sony Media flash drive. It also had a CD. It burned right to the CD.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And here it is. They're bracing for the storm.
And that totally looks like a real chimney with strong bricks. And for some reason, Crystal's there. She came by because she was dropping Lonnie off somewhere. Is that right?
Yeah. And then there, the window just blew.
Good old special effects. I don't really understand what's happening. Roseanne is not vacuuming, but she's sweeping the carpeted steps.
Well, I guess you're just trying to get all the big chunks in one area. Then you'll probably go over and vacuum.
Okay, fine. Well, tell me this. Why does she have lizards for earrings?
The lizards were really cool in the 80s, man.
Well, tell me this. I think at the beginning, how I was talking about those intros, another thing she mentioned, which is just kind of a fun fact, and this was a quiz thing I gave you, like one of our first episodes we did. We talked about DJ's middle name.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this episode, we hear it. So before the storm, or as the storm's like starting, she yells at DJ to come in, but she uses his full name.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
David Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's kind of funny because Jackie was one of the ones that was freaking out the most during the storm, and now she's all cool. Just a little storm.
One thing that we didn't mention that happened was there was a George Bush reference. I think that was when she was freaking out.
Mm-hmm. What is she says something about like wild, untamed, and then she mentions George Bush, which I guess I don't really get the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was known for being a wimp. Okay, that's like the one thing that he was plaguing his presidency, is that he was not tough. And he was kind of a huge dork. I mean,
so maybe she was just being silly.
Yeah.
Because part of me is like, oh, you mean Bush W? Because he was kind of rowdy.
Yeah, yes. W in his young days was rowdy.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why he's sounding more and more sane each day. He knows what it was like.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I noticed, and I mean, we probably talked about it, but this set just has so many pictures, so much going on.
Mm-hmm. There, I don't know. There was a guy that gives a speech on how to get financing for your film. Did you ever go to that?
You mean Sean Cavell?
Yeah.
I did go to that, yeah.
He talks a lot of, I don't know if I know we didn't go together, but maybe there was two different things where he's like, I think it was him that was talking about like set design, and like you get a set designer on there and you walk onto set and you're like, whoa, you way overdid it. And then until you actually see it on film, then you're like, oh, this looks a lot better than it would be. Because like when you think about it, yeah, blank space is the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so, it's so boring, it just sticks out. So, So I guess you just want to keep everything covered as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, just like that they're in the kitchen right now, and their corridor is like just covered with decorative plates. What is that? A toaster? Oh my goodness! A coffee maker, the oldest coffee maker ever.
Oh my god, look at that paper towel dispenser.
Ah, that paper towel dispenser reminds me a lot of yesteryear.
Yeah, you can still get them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you just walk into Walmart, they have them.
they don't use the new plasma automatic dampness remover.
That's a thing.
I totally got you. I don't know if you ever listened back, but with the plasma, what do you call them? Sleeping bags. That's a thing.
That is a thing. That blew my mind, but I don't think there's plasma paper towel dampness.
There could be.
There could be.
If I can think of it. It's what do they say? If you can think of it, it is a thing.
Yeah, like Rule 32.
Is that Rule 32?
No, that's not Rule 32. But Rule 32 is a thing.
What's Rule 32?
There's a porn version of everything.
Oh,
No.
sure.
So there's probably like
Porn version of this
porn
episode.
porn fan fiction of this episode. And then they got by the toaster.
Oh no, Dan. This is such scary weather.
Hold me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie's sitting there taking pictures.
That's weird. I mean, it's weird enough already.
So here we're getting towards the end, and Dan's giving this whole "you can't worry about things" speech.
And that was brought on because Roseanne says something along the lines of, "What happens? What happens when you die?"
Yep.
It's like she cares about him.
Mm-hmm. They're in love, and then it ends with this like credit sequence of their house and over the rainbow playing.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear. Well, obviously the reference with the title, but
Yep. Well, was it obvious because I had to explain it to you.
I was just pretending to be a blockhead.
Yeah.
Blockhead.
Pretending, huh?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
So talk to me. What do you think
What do I think?
of this episode? What does this episode mean to you?
This is actually one of my favorite episodes because it does have the tornado aspect. And I think that's kind of cool. I can relate.
You can relate to tornadoes
I can relate to experiencing going through it.
because you're a whirlwind of ideas and you're just totally out of control.
No, because I've experienced a tornado. You didn't like this episode, though.
If I was a storm system, if I was a dangerous storm system, I would be a tornado. Well, I would be a low front moving into the south, a low pressure system. I would bring temperatures. Sorry.
I'd be a hailstorm because that's what I do at the strip clubs. Make it hail.
Make it hail, huh? Not make it rain.
Nope. Silver dollars. Just
Ouch. I didn't even know making it hail was a thing. But I'll allow it.
only cool guys do it.
So you'd rate it a 10
I don't know if I'd rate it a 10.
out of 20.
I'd rate it higher than a 10 out of 20.
10 out of 19.
I know your ruse. I'm waiting for you to rate it.
Okay, I'm going to say if my rating is X minus 1 out of 10 when X, and substitute X for your rating. So let's solve for X. J, X equals question mark.
X equals 8.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is a really strong 7 for me.
Yeah. Did I say 8? I meant 6.
It's a strong 5. No. It's fine. I found it entertaining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there was enough references to The Wizard of Oz for my liking.
How many more did you need? I mean, the episode is a reference.
Yeah, I know, but
The title's a reference, I mean.
I wanted the house to move,
You wanted well,
and I wanted there to be fairies.
you wanted a recreation of Wizard of Oz.
Right.
I'm kind of glad that they didn't go that way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of that movie to begin with.
Why?
It's just kind of, I mean, I liked it when I was a little kid, but it's really fun to put on silent and sync up Dark Side of the Moon with.
Stoner. You're a stoner.
You start it when the MGM line roars the second time.
Oh, is that when it starts?
Yeah, that's when and then you start hearing the thump, 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 thump.
So
I've always been mad.
That's a good album.
It is. That's a great album. I used to chat up this bartender, and she was telling me, and she pointed out a pretty good point that if you could only take one, like you got on a deserted island, Pink Floyd's discography, like you can only have one musician catalog, Pink Floyd would be a good one because their music is, they have a lot of different range. They have a lot of different types of music.
Yeah. I would say that 311 would not be a good band to bring along with you because they play the same song 150 times over. I like about 20 of them, quite a lot.
Yeah, song Down, that's a good one. Hydroponic is another good one.
Sure, but I wouldn't want to listen to all their albums
Just
in a row on repeat.
Just listening to the 311 live album on loop.
Say, hey Nick, maybe try less hard to rhyme, just some words just don't rhyme well. Hey, Mr. Martinez, cool it. You don't always have to try to sing. Just rap. It's cool.
Yeah. I think they're still making music, so hopefully if they're still listening, they'll take your advice.
I say this with love. I like you guys, but cool it.
Cool it.
Cool it with cool your jets with the stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Don't be a bunch of blockheads.
Is that the word of the day?
Blockhead.
I said it was the word of the day, didn't I? Is it still the same day, Jay?
Yeah, you literally did. I forgot you said that.
Do we need to go through this again?
Well, we don't freak out every time you say it. When you say it, you're supposed to
Nah. Oh, right. Well, I'll add in some sound effects.
Okay.
So, any final thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
Don't be afraid to leave your trailer during a storm. Go to someone's cellar. Your pride does nothing. Pride cometh before the fall, Zeke.
Before the fall. I had it after. Yeah. Pride was after the fall.
After you fall, that's when you're proud. I can see how that tripped you up.
I didn't fall. I totally didn't fall. It was my dance move.
I'm not done dancing. I might fall again, so...
Right. And also, if you spare the ribs, you'll spoil your dinner.
What?
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
But spare the ribs?
If you eat the
spare the ribs from what? Eating them?
No, if you eat the spare ribs, you'll spoil your dinner. No?
When God was handing out brains, you thought he said trains.
I said, no thanks, I'll take the next one. Oh yeah? Well, when God was handing out noses, you thought he said roses and said, oh, I'll take a big red one.
So dumb. Yeah. That was fun. We should do this more often.
It's true.
Simeon has been bugging me about when we're going to record, and I keep on saying, well, we'll record again, but both of us keep on, like, something pops up and we can't make it.
By something pops up, you mean...
My wiener.
That's not what I meant. I meant, like, things are scheduled. And, but if you want it to be about your wiener, then fine.
Did you see... You're not friends with him on Facebook, I bet, but Jess Fresley, I think that's how you say his last name. I've known him forever. I hope that's how you say your last name. He's been listening. Okay. And he had a funny comment. It was something along the lines... He thought it was really funny. He's like, it makes me imagine what it's like to have friends. And I don't know what somebody commented on it. It's like, it's good that you can imagine what it's like to have friends.
Yeah, it's almost as if we like each other. Almost.
But it's pretty contentious between us.
Yeah. And contentious means?
Like, lots of tension in... That's how I just define it.
And, means can you
say it?
Can you unpack that for me?
That's become like our catchphrase for our show. Rob, you know how often Rob from Wyoming sends me randomly will ask me, can you unpack that for me? You
well,
think even Simeon's been using it?
we'll have to. This is done. No more.
You know you can't stop.
I can stop.
Mm-mm.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Like Miley Cyrus.
Feeling. Okay. Well, it was good talking to you,
Good talking to you.
buddy. It's good to know we have to what it's good that it's good to know what it feels like to have friends.
It's good to know what it feels like to have friends.
Tell me this: what would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you
Stand up and walk out on you?
lend me your ears, and I'll sing you a song?
Try not to sing out of tune. Remember that Friends song by Flight of the Conchords?
No.
Hum, oh, hum, 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 bing, hum, bum, bum,
No.
bum, 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 bing. Friends, la 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 la.
No, I did not know one. What season is that? Season 1 or 2?
That's with your favorite comedian, though. Walter Flanagan? Not Walter Flanagan. That's a completely different person. That's from Comic Book Men. What's his name? He was just in
The white guy.
We were just in
The pale guy.
we just had this problem last time.
Jim Gaffigan.
There we go.
Right.
Walter Flanagan. Jim Gaffigan. He's the one that's singing that song with Murray, though. I think it's season 2.
Yeah.
And Brett and Murray don't like him.
Brit.
He wants to know if we want to go to lunch with him. No. Tell him it's because we don't like him.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for guys and gals, women, and it can be guys too. It's universal.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Brozanne, a show where two dudes talk about the show Roseanne sometimes, and mostly just other things. Because why not?
Somebody pointed that out on the IMDb boards. It's like most of you just irrelevant chatter. Sounds like you guys are having fun, though.
Yeah, you sound like a dick.
He doesn't mean that if you're still listening.
It's true. You should keep listening. Once
keep
you're done eating one, come back and listen to the next episode.
We're going to get so much hate mail.
I know. Oh, that's right. Send your hate mail on, find us on SoundCloud. You can listen to the latest, find our backlog on YouTube. I think I still have to update a episode on there. Whoops. And, share us on Facebook. Tell your friends. Even if you just like, hey, look at these losers. They're trying to do a podcast. They suck. Just share it anyway.
Yeah, share it. Don't share it.
All listens are good listens.
Yeah, except bad listens. Well, till next week.
Bye.
Bye.